What's good, YouTube, and welcome to another KaibaHacksDartz Yu-Gi-Oh video. We're here with the second entry in the Remaking Dungeon Dice Monster series. Now, in this video, we're going to be doing the dice. As you can see, we have levels 1 to 4 dice made up with the correct sides, as far as I can tell, in the right orientations and right placement. So, what you're going to need to make this dice, and of course there's a lot of ways to do it, but this is the way we've chosen, and feel free to leave different ways in the comments that I could maybe try out. But what you're going to need for this dice is some Mod Podge and tape, some other kind of glue, some sticky notes, and a pencil and or Sharpie. And then you're going to need something to cut and possibly maybe a ruler. So you're going to take some sticky notes, cut these into 4 equal pieces, so you're left with a square like this, and then you're going to use one of those squares and fold in 2 of the sides, so it looks like that, and then fold them into the middle, like I did there. Sorry, I could show it a little bit better. Then you're going to fold in 2 of the sides into the middle once again, so you're left with this little square, and that's going to be the face, one of the faces of your 6-sided die. And of course, I did show how to do this in the How to Make a Custom D6 video, but I'll show it off quickly again. It is a bit more thorough in this video. Link will be in the description and or the comments. But you're going to do that process 5 more times. And say if you wanted to make a red dice, you're going to need 6 red like this. So we've taken those three of those pieces and inserted them into each other. Basically what we've done here is take one, put the side tab in the middle, and you're going to do that again in one of these crevices. You're going to take that tab, put it in between one of the other tabs, but still not covering the face of the next one. And that's how you get that first basic shape right there. And then you're just going to keep adding them into the side. So once you're here, you can add one into there. We can maybe throw this blue one in for demonstrational purposes. But you'll get to that point, and then you can throw one into this slot right here, and then lastly one into there, and you'll be left with a loose version of this. And basically what you'll want to do is take some Mod Podge, some glue, some kind of sealer, and just go over it, and as you're kind of holding it together and keeping it, and then maybe leave it to dry on something it won't stick to, but you'll be left with this solid cube. Now there is a couple different ways you could go about doing this. You could draw the sides on first and then kind of do the cube as you go around and kind of tape it, or lots of different ways to make these dice and different dice in general. But once it dries from the first kind of coating of Mod Podge, you'll be left with this. And then you can take the sides, and I'll usually go in pencil just to make sure I got like the shape and placement right. So for the yellow dice, the level 3, there is 2 summoning crests, and then an arrow and an arrow. And then as you can see, there is 2 of the, I believe it's the magic crests, or maybe I get the magic and the trap confused, but yeah. But as you can see, and then that would be your attack crest. I just drew that instead of, it's like 2 swords kind of clashing. And that would be your placement. As you can see, hopefully this kind of shows it off. But then, at least for the yellow one, I'll do it again later. You're going to take, I'll use a Sharpie pen, but you could probably just get away with a normal Sharpie. And you're just going to trace over your basic crests. So there we go. We have, that one side. And obviously I do it a little bit more thorough, but this is just a demonstrational dice. So, movement crest. You get the idea. We'll kind of skip there to save time. But then what I'll also do is take a Sharpie, or the Sharpie pen if you want, and just line the edges. So that way it does have that more of a dungeon dice appearance. I'd usually use a Sharpie for this part, but just to show off what it looks like, you'd go over and do some squares just to outline each crest. So something like that. And then if you go around each side, it does help make it pop a lot more. And you'll be left with something like this. And then lastly, what I do is take some of this tape, I don't know what you'd just call it other than invisible tape, but that comes out of these dispensers and is about that size. So you can basically wrap the dice on each of its axes. So you can go around that side, turn it, go around this side, turn it, and then go around this side. So that way it wraps everything equally, and you're left with a pretty resilient and solid dice. Of course, you can Mod Podge under throughout this process, but this just keeps it even more sealed and helps make things, stay in place, keeps it resilient. So that's basically how to make the Dungeon Dice Monster dice. Like I said, this part can be a little finagly, putting, the pieces together with when you get the first three, and then you go into that, the fourth, and possibly the fifth and the sixth. I'll see if I can possibly attempt it on camera here. In the D6 video, I do actually complete it, but you get the idea. Let me see if I can get her in there without finagling everything. I make it look a lot harder than it is. But that's just because I'm on camera and it's, But you're basically lining all those up, and then you get that last one in the top there. Pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, I did do it in the D6 video to make this. And I can run through very quickly and show each of the crests in their positions just so people know where they're at. So this is the level 1 dice. All 4 sides are a level 1 summon with an arrow or a movement crest at the top. And then opposite to that is 2 defense crest. So that's the level 1. The level 2 is 2 movement. Then there's 2 summon crests and a 3rd summon crest. So movement, 3 summon crest. And then upwards from that movement, you can see, just so you can tell exactly the placement, 2 attack crest. And then spell or trap. I can never remember which one's which, to be honest. I'm assuming once I actually play some real games, it'll be a little bit more intuitive. But on this one, we have 2 summons, movement, and a movement. And you can see position-wise where the attack crest is. And then times 2 summon or spell or trap. Like I said, can't remember. I think it's, I'm going to say spell, but or maybe trap, I don't know. Excuse my bad artsiness, but that is a defense crest. 1 summon crest, 2 movement, an attack, and then as you can see, the speller trap, and then times 2 speller trap. So I'll just kind of give that a movement around just so you can see compared to what sides are what, because it did take me a little bit of research and close-upping people's videos to tell what's what. Hopefully this can make the process slightly easier for you and less time-consuming. And hopefully you can get the dice together easier than I have on camera. Because I struggle a lot, but when I'm not on camera, I can get them together pretty quick. As you can see, it's just the distance. It's it's a whole thing. But if you liked this, make sure to let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas for making the dice on the cheap. I know I could probably 3D print them or something like that. But I didn't want to pull that out just to begin. I want to show probably the cheapest way I can do. You could maybe do clay or start to get into epoxies and resins and maybe casting some special dye for it. Or maybe just squares that you can draw on whatever, or getting custom dye possibly on, I know Amazon, I'm pretty sure, can sell different colors of like custom dice with no faces on them. So then you could apply your faces. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways to go about making the dice in Dungeon Dice Monsters. And hopefully this helps to simplify the process. And next we'll be moving into something else. I'm not sure what the next part will be exactly. But one of the 6 that I discussed in the first video. And let me know, like I said, how you feel about them. They work overall pretty good. You can roll them decently. You could try and find a way to add weight to them. Just maybe put like clay inside or just keep adding more and more Mod Podge until it's a solid block. I don't know. Like I said though, if you like that, make sure to leave a comment, or if you have any suggestions or thoughts on what I could do for remaking Dungeon Dice monsters, not just the dice themselves. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know when new videos of this series and other series are coming out on the channel. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Peace.